Hey guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Adventure Time 5-inch Stretchy Jake and Stretchy Finn from Jazwares. Alright, so Adventure Time. What a cool cartoon. I was recently turned on to this by my good friend Sween Halleck, and I've been hooked ever since. So when I came across Jazwares' new 5-inch versions of the two main characters in stores, I knew that I had to grab these two figures to add them to my collection. So let's take a look at them, see if they're worth it. The two figures come packaged in these brightly colored packaging that's got the nice blue sky and the cool bright colors of the environment that you see in the Adventure Time cartoon. You got an awesome image of Jake with sitting on Finn's shoulders nice and stretched out. And then the back of the box just gives us a look at some of the other figures available in the line, namely the 2-inch figures, the little 2-packs, which are also very cool looking. And then of course you can see these two only figures that are available in the 5-inch collection. Here's a weird little typo I noticed on the back of the box. Look up there under the Adventure Time logo where it says with Finn and Jake. Why is the H white on with? Apparently it's Adventure Time with Jake and Finn. Oh yeah. Alright, so now that we got these bad boys open, let's take a look at them. Now, they look great. Seriously, the way the characters look, it looks like they are right out of the cartoon series. Now, there is a little bit of a difference in the scale. I would say the proportions are slightly off, because Jake is huge compared to Finn. Now, he does obviously have that ability to kind of stretch and change his shape and everything as we see in the cartoon series, but when he's in normal dog mode, he is a little smaller than Finn, and here you can see he's taller and wider than Finn, so the proportions are a little off, scale is a little off, but otherwise, I think they look pretty great. They look just like the cartoon, and when I saw them in the store, that's immediately what I thought. I was like, wow, these are great looking figures. I definitely want to grab these to add them to my collection. Now, opening them up, I did kind of notice that they're not as cool as I was hoping they would be. Not bad by any means, but let's go ahead and take a look at them piece by piece just so we can see exactly what we've got. So let's go ahead and start with Jake the dog. Alright, now the first thing I really noticed when opening the figure up is how really lightweight these guys are. The figures are made of almost like a hollow plastic. He's definitely hollow. He's very lightweight. He doesn't feel very strong or very sturdy at all. He's got one articulation cut in his waist, so you can turn him side to side. Then he's got articulation in his legs, so you got the little ball joints up at the thighs, so you can kind of bend them up, and then you can swivel the ankles. Now the problem is, he's got such a big body, and he's not too heavy, so you don't have to really worry about like too much top heaviness, but the way that his legs are shaped, they're thin, they're kind of like, like he's got the little stick legs, and they seem to be a little unbalanced on the feet, because it is hard, it's not the easiest thing to find the best way to pose them and stand them up. You definitely need a nice flat surface. But you can definitely get them posed once you kind of play around with it a little bit and figure out the way to do it. Now the arms are actually made of a stretchy material, which makes sense for Jake since he stretches in the show. They're just like a light plastic. There's no wire or anything inside like I was kind of thinking it might be, and it's not like real stretchy. I mean, you can kind of stretch it out a little bit, but not a lot. I almost feel like if you pulled too much, you might rip them or break them, so I definitely wouldn't do that. It's an interesting feature to do. The only thing is it kind of makes the arms useless on these guys. I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do with them other than leave him standing exactly the way he's posed. You can't really, pose his arms in any other pose other than this. Now, this really poses a problem with his included accessory, which is his giant fist. Now, this is a very cool accessory, because Jake can, like I said before, change the shape and style and everything in the cartoon series. So, it's got a hole in it, and it actually just plugs right into his hand on a stretchy body to give himself the large fist, which is very cool looking. The only problem is you can't, display him with it, because look what happens. It just kind of, hangs down there. I mean, what good is that really to do? You can't really pose his arms holding the fist up, and of course you can see this causes a balance issue. There we go, we got him standing now. It just makes his arm look goofy because it's laying down now, it's wobbly, it's kind of squiggly looking, so it's an interesting concept, just doesn't really work too well with these stretchy arms. Now, one cool thing, he also includes BMO, which is an awesome little accessory to come with. Very cool sculpt, looks just like he does in the series. He has no articulation whatsoever, and his legs and arms are very, very, very tiny pieces of plastic, so you'd have to be really careful because I wouldn't want you to snap those off. And of course, with no articulation and those tiny little legs, he is also one that doesn't stand too well. You can get him to stand, you just got to find the right spots, which I am not having any luck with. There we go. Got BMO standing. He is very cool looking. I love BMO. I think he's a great accessory, so I think that's an awesome thing to have pack in with Jake. Alright, so now let's take a look at the main hero himself, Finn. Alright, kind of the same deal with Finn. He's very lightweight. He's hollow. There's really not a whole lot of weight going on with him. He's got articulation in the same spot in the waist, and then also his head. His head can turn. And I notice his head is actually kind of loose on this. You can see how easy it is to kind of swing it around there, swivel it. You got the same kind of joints in the legs. You got knee joints on him. They're kind of tight, so it's a little hard to move them, and you can kind of see how it's separating a little bit while I'm trying to move them, so they're unfortunately not too functional of knee joints. And then you also got the swivels at the ankles. You kind of got the same thing there. You just got to find the right way to position them to get them to stand up. You definitely need a good flat surface. He's got a backpack on. It is a very hard plastic. You can remove it if you want to, but it is kind of complicated. You just pull it right off of his arms there, but you can see it's very, very solid piece of plastic, very hard. You can put it or slide it right back up on his arms. And of course you can see, since I'm taking off his backpack, that he's got the same arms as Jake, so he's got the stretchy thing going on. Doesn't make as much sense with Finn here as it does Jake, since Jake's the stretchy one of the group. So he kind of got the same thing going on though. His arms are pre-posed. You can stretch them out a little bit. Now, of course, as Finn's accessory, you get the sword, which is very cool looking. It's got all the scuffs and everything in it. It is made of a very pliable plastic, so it bends around a lot. Mine is a little warped, as you can see. So you might want to straighten that out. So here we run into that same kind of issue with Jake's hand. Not as bad, but he holds the sword good. Finn holds the sword pretty good. But because of his stretchy arms, you can see it just kind of jiggles around there and kind of lays a little limp. You can't really get him to pose it holding it up too good, and it kind of falls down. And I've also noticed, like, the longer you actually have him standing there, the more it actually kind of starts to droop down. So honestly, in the end, I'm not so sure I'm happy with the stretchy arms choice for these figures. I think it's kind of a neat little concept, and I guess it's cool playability for the kids that are going to pick these up and play with them. But it's hard to pose them, and their accessories just aren't as useful as they should be because of the stretchy arms. I mean, the sword, and especially Jake's fist, just really don't work out as well as we'd hope. Now, in the end, I do still think these look like great figures. They are awesome pieces. Again, they look right out of the cartoon, a very cool cartoon that I enjoy. So I am glad to have these and throw them up on display on my toy shelf, but honestly, this is probably not a set of figures I would recommend buying and playing with because they just don't feel like they would hold up too good. They're lightweight, they're hollow, they're not solid, their joints don't work very good, and the arms are useless. So there you go, guys. If you're a fan of Adventure Time, maybe check these out. You might even have better luck with the 2-inch figures from Jazwares, so you might want to check those out. They are in stores now. Until next time.